Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a tutorial on this look right here. It's kind of a 90s inspired kind of a vibe, but you guys know how much I am into that and how much I love that. I'm still that 90s chick girl. I'm still that 90s Max Spice and Myth chick from the 90s. It's like, oh, she was one of those. Yeah, I was all the way through the 90s. I admit it. I still have my Spice and Myth, by the way, too. Okay, so I used this is the Makeup Revolution Forever Flawless Decadent Palette, and we're going to get into that in this eye look here in just a second. But I do want to welcome you. If you guys are new and this is your first time here, welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren Jade. I'm 57. I have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin with hooded eyes that are slightly downturned. So I'm always looking for ways to kind of rock this situation and pass my tips and tricks on to you guys. And I know that we all have different eye shapes. We have different levels of hoodedness, but even if you kind of have to tweak a little bit, I'm hoping you guys can pick up a few little tips and tricks along the way. Okay, so with that said, let's get into this palette. So this is the Forever Flawless Decadent palette. Looks like this. Now, I have quite a few Makeup Revolution palettes from the past, and I do show you guys some of those throughout the video, but you really can't keep up with these guys, by the way. They add so much stuff all the time, but I did find a few other palettes that they've just released that I wanted to add into my collection, so I have those coming, and so you guys will see more looks with this brand, but this is the palette that I used to create this look. And yeah, that's it. So that's it for this intro. I want to keep this short. So yeah, subscribe, hit the notification bell. YouTube notifies you each and every time I upload. And yeah, without further ado, if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching and let's get right into this tutorial. A little bit of baking on the under eye area here real quick. Just to really set that under eye area. And then we are going to prime the eye. Going in with my MAC paint pot here in soft ochre. And I'm using a It Cosmetics dual-ended, it's a Heavenly Luxe dual-ended concealer brush. You've got a flat brush on one side, and then you've got kind of like a round, domed, dense kabuki on the other, which is really good for kind of just buffing that out. And I'm making sure to take my concealer where I'm planning to place my shadow, so I am taking it on the inner corner, as well as coming all the way out to the end. And I'm taking it also kind of up to this brow area. And I'm also going to clean, define, and kind of shape this area since I'm right here. I'm gonna go in with my BFF Melts Blur. This shadow, by the way, has been a total game changer for me. And I am setting this primer base P. Louise style. As usual, I have said bye-bye to the old translucent powder YouTube tutorial cookie cutter method that we all set the base with the translucent powder. I did that for a while, and I always kind of thought that was kind of half-baked. I didn't really like it, but you know, it's kind of like what we all did, and now I'm kind of jumped on the P. Louise bandwagon, if you will, and never looked back. So I am just placing this kind of where I'm planning to place my shadows. Kind of like, I'm gonna kind of wing it out a hair too while I'm here, because why not? All right, I'm going to contour now my eyes and start to bring in some shape and some definition. That's the first thing I like to do. And I also like to contour, especially in through here, so I can have that structure in with my nose contour. So I'm going to grab the Hoola bronzer as always, and I'm using a JH32 brush for this step. And I'm just going to kind of start in the middle of the eye socket. And then I'm going to take this down towards the back here and just kind of start to kind of wing it out. I am wanting to just keep this as kind of a little light wash of color over here. And I'm brushing this up towards the brow, and then I'm taking it also down into this nose contour. And that's just kind of why I use the bronzer, because I like to get that kind of inner corner shading, and I like to start to bring in some shape into this hooded eye. When you have hooded eyes, well, I can't say for everybody, but for me, it's all about eye shaping and eye contouring. Okay, get a little bit on the other side. This is the 35 amplified version of the 35OM palette from Morphe. So I'm going to grab this shade right here, and I got this honestly because I love that palette, but as you know, all the big Morphe palettes, as you can see back here, I have a huge stack. None of them have mirrors in them, except for some smaller ones. So I'm going to grab this shade right here, and I have the sheet somewhere, so I don't know off the bat what that is, but it's a bone shade right here, so I'm just going to put this underneath the brow bone and just kind of catch the end of that bronzer there. All right, now we're going to dig into this Makeup Revolution palette. This one is the Flawless Decadent. I've got a few more of these palettes from Makeup Revolution coming, so you guys will probably see in the next few tutorials more Makeup Revolution, because I actually really do like their stuff. I've got a bunch of their stuff. I have several of these chocolate bar type of the palettes. I've got quite a few of the Flawless ones, and then I've got these HD amplified ones, which is the 35 dupes from Morphe. And then this one is also a stunner. This one is the Jewel collection, and all of these shimmers kind of have that metal foil effect, so I really like them. And I've had no problems at all with, you know, blending or, you know, not being pigmented enough, and I absolutely love this palette. So I'm going to take this shade right here, which is Sienna, and I'm using my JH33, which is just like a M433 from Morphe, or a, you know, 217 from MAC, or an E25 from Sigma. It's the same type of brush, and I'm going to start to really kind of sculpt out and really kind of define and get some more shape and contour into this hooded eye. And I'm going to start with kind of almost creating like the fake crease. So I'm really going to sculpt this out. And I'm taking this one pretty high because I'm really going to get in there and do kind of a higher, kind of a cut crease look today, I think. I'm not really exactly sure what colors I'm going to use. We're just going to kind of go with it, but I really like this palette, and I've been kind of playing with it, and I am going to kind of do a little bit more of a winged shape now that I have the brow situation going on, which, by the way, I absolutely love. It's been a total game changer for me in this eyeshadow game, just to be able to have these brows, you know, working. It really helps me with my alignment in the shadow and just being able to create the shape that I want. So I'm really working inside that socket, and I'm going to flick this out and just kind of really get in here and carve out this shape. I am taking this up a little bit higher than what I normally do, because I really want to do kind of more of a little bit more of a dramatic, which dramatic for me, but not dramatic in the sense of like Instagram dramatic. So now I'm just kind of buffing out the edges and just kind of whisking them out. I am doing a sort of a winged out cat eye shape here. I'm going to switch to a Sigma E27. The 25 was my holy grail, and it still is that same type of brush until the 27 came along, and now I've got another new BFF. I'm going to grab Sundown right here. And I'm basically going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to continue to, hello pigment. Yes, I see you. I see you. I read you loud and clear. I'm right here in the socket, and I'm going to really kind of further define this fake crease. I'm going to keep it on this outside here until I get, and then I'm going to wing this out. I'm going to keep this cut crease today a little bit more kind of elongated. So I'm taking it kind of towards the inner socket here. I don't want to get too much on this inner corner with this bright shade. All right, I'm going to go back into, I'm going to take another brown shade. I think I'm going to take this grander shade right here, and I'm back on the JH33 because I really want to sculpt out this inner corner right here, this inner socket right here, and just really kind of get that really kind of defined for this look. All right, so now I'm gonna grab this kind of white shade right here from the chocolate. This one is the Chocolate Vice palette, Makeup Revolution. And yes, they are a little bit powdery, but I have no problems with blending or pigmentation. And I'm just going to map out my lid space now and really kind of carve out this crease. I never cut the crease with concealer. I always do it with shadow. That's why I usually kind of keep the lid space kind of clean, but doesn't matter because I usually carve this out. So I want to take this up a little bit higher today and really kind of have a little bit more of a higher cut crease today than normal. And I'm not doing anything in the outer V, I don't think. I mean, that might change because, like I said, I'm really not quite sure what I want to do today. Now I'm going to go back in and just kind of put that right back on that border. Because sometimes when you do your lid space, sometimes, even if it's like with shimmer, you can, you know, it just kind of like takes away that little line right there. So you always kind of have to go back in and kind of re-intensify that area. And then I'm going to just throw some of these shades on my lower lash line. My Sigma E58 cream color brush, I'm going to grab a combination of Gleam and then Pearls, of course. You guys, I feel like everybody already knows like what I like to do. So I'm going to start out with not spritzing my brush. And then if I decide I want more of that metal foil effect, then I will just go in and spritz the brush. So I spritz my brush just a tiny bit with the MAC Fix Plus. And I'm just going to, and I love how this looks, by the way. It's so pretty, but I'm going to show you like what it does when you spritz your brush, you kind of get that metal foil effect. So you can see. I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to do the white on the inner corner and that. All right, so for my wing liner, I'm going to start out with a brown and then I'm going to gradient that to a black so that I have that gradient fade from the black to the brown. So I'm going to start with this shade right over here using a flat definer brush. And I'm going to start from the middle of the eye and just do a smoky, smudgy little wing right here. Super quick. And I'm going to extend this out kind of like right to where my natural crease is. So with this one, I do kind of stamp a little bit close to the root, but I'm also kind of smudging it up a little bit just to kind of smoke it up a little bit. And I always kind of, when I'm bringing this in, some people like to draw the line, you know, from the end and then, you know, draw it back in and kind of connect it that way. I like to get it nice and smoky And then what I will do is I bring it in. And I always try to keep in alignment with my lower lash line kind of going up, but I always kind of stop like right before the tail end because my eyes are slightly downturned. So that also kind of helps to get that elongated, but that little cat eye effect so that you're lifting your eye up, if that makes sense. So as opposed to taking it like all the way down to where like my natural lash line ends, because the whole idea with this look is just to really open up the eyes and really to elongate them. But I also want lifted, so I'm not bringing it all the way down. So basically when I do my wing, it kind of comes up to a point and then I curve down at an angle. And I like that better than drawing the line up and then going straight across. But if you were, but that's because I'm doing shadow wings, right? I suppose if you were doing a liquid liner, you would want to do up and all the way across. All right. I am going to get that gradient effect going now. We're going to go from the black. We're going to go from the brown to the black, and I'm going to keep the black really close to the root of the lash line. And I'm taking the black from the Kylie bronze palette, and now I've switched to a really small angle brush. This one is the Sigma E65. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay really, really close to the lash line. I also like to grab my flat definer brush too and just kind of wiggle this in between the lashes. I'm not taking this up as high as that brown because I want that to kind of fade into that brown. I really like that gradient fade type of effect. And I'm just going to pull this out, not too far. And then just kind of stamp right out here. Just to get a little tiny black wing going. And then I'm going to go back to the flat definer brush and kind of smudge the edges of that black into that brown. All right, so this is the final look. I'm going to spray the face using my Anastasia Dewy Set today, and I've got my fan here. All right, guys, so that completes the look. I'm telling you, these false eyelashes are always kind of tricky. Because I have slightly downturned eyes, when I use these, I always attach them just like not following my natural eye shape, right? Because my eye shape kind of goes down and droopy, and I wouldn't want to bring the lashes like downward. So I always kind of attach them, just not quite at the very end, because you can see my lash line ends here. I always attach them like just a few millimeters up so that they get that more elongated cat eye effect. And because of that, I have to do a little bit of, a tiny bit of tight lining underneath here. And then of course you want to use mascara, and then you want to kind of clamp and kind of attach, your lashes to the falsies. But I'm not going to do that because honestly, I'm going to be removing them right after this video because I'm going to do my workout and get going with my day. So I'm not going to be doing that, but that's what you would want to do if you were going to be wearing them all day. All right, so that is it. I love the look. I love how it came out, and you guys will be seeing more from this brand, Makeup Revolution, because I got a few more palettes on the way. So that is it. Mwah! Love you guys. I will see you in my next one.